Real talk. When does the Super Bowl start? I actually don't know, but I realize that I am starting this stream way later than I normally do. Uh, I got to talk to you all about something. I know there's a smaller audience than normal because there have been so many crazy things happening. Last week, the whole stream pooped the bed, so to speak. Uh, it did not go well. It was a disaster, and I think I figured out the issue. There was a card issue. Card's been updated. I have 0 drop frames. Seems like it's holding stable, and hopefully that is the case for the near future. Laptops don't update that often. I got to move some stuff around here. Oh, great. I'm breaking everything. Let's move that down there. Anyway, it's been a crazy few weeks, and I have to talk to you all about some dumb things that I did when going independent. Long story short, here's what I took on after the Phil Spencer interview. I had a Pal World interview, the Avowed review, a Monster Hunter Wilds preview, a South of Midnight preview, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 review, Capcom Fighting Collection 2 preview, Street Fighter 6 My preview, a review that's under embargo that I haven't even started yet. And my kids had birthday parties. I spent time reaching out for several news stories that didn't go anywhere. And I just took on too much. So I watch Alex sometimes at night, and I was watching him last night, and I'm like, I don't know how to prioritize anything. And I asked patrons about like, what should I be prioritizing in terms of work? And they like interviews and they like news. And then I went into Alex's chat. He's like, you are way overthinking it. Just do what you did. Do stuff like the Baldur's Gate video. Like, that video wasn't perfect, but it's basically what people are looking for, except I could have done a little better on it. So take the feedback that I got from that, keep making content similar to that with potentially a little bit better research, and like do your due diligence, but make stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, he's right. Oh, you saw the Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 gameplay videos? Did that pop up in the feed? Because I flipped some of my old VODs public. I didn't know that would like push a notification anywhere. Yeah, I just flipped them live. Woodpit. Those are from like when I played the game. I flipped them live because I needed to take like a small snippet from them in order to use them for everything. It was on your feed? Oh, well. Well, hopefully I didn't do anything stupid in those old VODs, but I probably did. So buckle up, everybody. Yeah, so that's Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. They're super old videos, and I flipped them live because tomorrow on Patreon, ad-free, of course, and YouTube members ad-free, I'm releasing the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 review in progress because I haven't had a ton of time with it, but I just wanted to give my initial impressions of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And then I have another thing coming on Tuesday, and I have another thing coming on Wednesday. I am going to Washington, D.C., not for anything related to the government. Well, not really. But anyway, I know a lot of people are going to think that, but I'm going to Washington, D.C. for something. And I'm excited about that. I've never been there before. I definitely want to go to Abraham Lincoln and take a photo by Abraham Lincoln. Probably going to do that if I can get the chance. Eat some good food, things like that. But yeah. Ooh, The Division. Yeah, that's right. I can go to all the locations of The Division. No, nothing related to The Division. Nothing like that. But excited to go, and I will be back. But I have content lined up for Monday, Tuesday, and I have the edit for Wednesday. I'm actually going to go ahead and play some Monster Hunter Wilds after we go over some of this news from the last week to talk about it a little bit more. But a lot of stuff has happened this week. It has been an odd drama-filled week, like more drama than normal. Not super into it, if I'm being totally honest, but a lot happened. PSN went down for several days. PSN was just done for several days, and PlayStation's doing a make good, but it really brought up the conversation about always online and requiring an internet connection for your games, and it was really, really annoying. Yeah, so People are like, reviews are good. It's good that you're doing reviews. Here's the challenge. Wait, there's a hurricane coming through Washington, D.C. Game on? Really? I saw Sony's response to the outage, and it was bad. Basically, they said they're going to give you like a free day of PSN or something, right? I'm pretty understandable about outages and such, but that one was particularly long. And I do think that when you have games like Gran Turismo 7 where you can't do your event or whatever that you have players like super invested in, I just think it's silly, especially when a game like that, it just doesn't need to be always online. It just doesn't. And Xbox has had this problem. I think the last few Januaries, Xbox has been an outage. So it's not like Xbox is immune to this issue, but it's just annoying. So anyway, all that stuff's going on. Let's talk about the Xbox news. Oh, it's a hurricane quote. Well, there was a tsunami warning or something because there was an earthquake somewhere. I thought you were referencing that, but I just heard something tsunami and I didn't know where it was or anything. Could that even happen in Washington? I don't know geography very well. Let's talk about gaming stuff because I know that slightly better. Take-Two has revealed the total number of next-gen consoles on the market, both for PlayStation 5 and Xbox. And you know that silly chart that everybody was making fun of me for? They're like, oh, this is so inaccurate. I was dead on. I was dead on with my number, give or take 1 million. But to be that close with my crazy person notes, as I call them, I'm pretty proud of myself, honestly. Now, we don't know how Take-Two got the numbers, and that is the one big criticism with this. But let's be honest, Take-Two is going to have better numbers than Destin Legary, and their estimates said about 2 million units were sold. Now, I had them down for 3, which would bring the total consoles sold to 29.9. People are now estimating they are at about 30 million sold. So potentially, they had a little bit better 2023. And what's funny about all this is every time Take-Two is the one leaking the about where Xbox is in terms of console sales because Microsoft refuses to come out and say it. So I don't think they're at 30 million yet. I think that if they were at 30 million, they would have mentioned it. But when you have a 32%, a 40%, these declines year over year, I do think that we can expect to see this happen. Now, this was from Tech for Gamers, which a commenter says is a bad website. I don't know. I don't know. They said it was like a grifter website or whatever, but like, I don't know why they said that because I go here. It's like they're comparing the 5080 to the 4070. I would have to dig into it more. Just giving you all that context. Some random person said a thing on Twitter. I honestly don't know what's true half the time anymore on Twitter or Blue Sky because everybody just says one thing or the other thing. And yeah. Destin, so while the NPD monthly charts were wrong during 2024, the last NPD said Xbox had sold 900,000 in December alone. I mean, potentially they could have sold 900,000 in December, which would mean I was even closer to my number because I said they were at 29.9. I said they had sold, I estimated for 2024, they would have sold 3 million. So the Take-Two numbers were for November, and we were able to extract the PlayStation numbers from that number. And let's just read the article. So this is what they reported, right? Xbox reportedly sold just 2 million consoles last year through November. A new quarterly earnings report by Take-Two reveals that Xbox seemingly only sold 2 million units in 2024. By December 2023, Xbox was estimated to have rolled over 27 million consoles globally. The number only grew by 2 million by next year's end. So where was I at? Yeah, so my estimates were, well, they're anywhere from 25 to 27.7. And I gave them the most generous assumption that I possibly could last year based on Take-Two's earning call again. So that's where I had them independently. Like, I didn't refer to anybody. I looked at the numbers, and that's where I put them. They leaked their own numbers in 2022. So if you're wondering, oh, well, where are you getting these numbers from? From Microsoft. Microsoft leaked their own numbers via an ID at Xbox presentation in June of 2023, which told us in 2022, they were at about 21 million units. And then in 2023, I estimated that most generously, they were closer to 27.7. I estimated 6 million. And then for 2024, I had estimated 3. So like, I'm not being crazy here. Most analysts put them around 30 million units for the year also. So I know there's a lot of deflection and conversation here, but feel how you will about Tech for Gamers. I think this is a good catch. This is something I used to catch. I just missed it on this one. It's no surprise that the famous console wars era is now officially over, with PlayStation coming out on top of this generation in many departments. However, no one would have expected such a huge divide to form between both giants in hardware sales over the years. Now, a new report suggests that Xbox only managed to roll over approximately 2 million units last year. Someone in chat is saying 2.9 million. That's fine. It's still a low number. A stark contrast when compared to how well PlayStation 5 performed throughout 2024. Why it matters. Xbox only selling 2 million units worldwide in the last 12 months is quite a concerning development, but it also explains why the brand is shifting towards a multi-platform and software-focused strategy. And I think that's where we can just stop there in the article. That's all we really need to know. I think their math is right. Basically what they did is they said 94 plus million Gen 9 consoles outstanding, estimated worldwide as of November 2024. And I even tweeted as much. I went into the actual document, and you can see this is a straight up screenshot. There's no asterisks here. So this source is referencing something else that is asterisked on this page. Right here. Interactive entertainment market estimated to reach 222 billion in 2025. And in terms of console sales, 94 million Gen 9 consoles outstanding, estimated worldwide as of November 2024. But there's still $222 billion on the table for 2025. The market is growing. It's just growing in a different way, which is why Microsoft has diverted from just the console strategy. So let's say they sold 900,000 units in December. Sure, that means my estimates are exactly right if they hypothetically sold 900,000 units, which would be huge, by the way, versus PlayStation, who I believe we know they're at 66 million, which means they sold 6.8, which also is not good. I think that number is going to be higher, though, because they did release the PlayStation 5 Pro. Has Sony done their earnings through 2024 yet? Because they actually just straight up list how many consoles they've sold, because, you know, their console's selling well. Now, all of that said, the 29.9 million for 2024, which seems to be pretty close to accurate, it's either 29 or 29.9. That's where we're at for Xbox consoles sold, is exactly what I made a whole video about, talking about how I'm concerned that the Xbox is going to fail to outsell the Xbox One. But who cares? I don't think it matters that much, honestly. Microsoft has clearly stated that they lost the console war. So when people are like, haha, we won, it's like, yeah, they said that 3 years ago. Are we still doing this? Like, really? I think everybody has, most people, especially since the interview I did with Phil Spencer, most people have basically said, oh, okay, they're not that concerned about console exclusives anymore. They are going multi-platform. Seems good. Let's make money. And they're releasing their games on PlayStation, and they're topping the charts. They are topping the charts, which means PlayStation gamers are buying more Xbox games than PlayStation games. Sure, that'll change when Wolverine comes out. I'm going to play Wolverine day one. I'm going to play Grand Theft Auto 6 day one I'm going to get a PlayStation 5 Pro for a GTA 6 for sure. unless Xbox comes out with something better or somehow it magically comes out on PC. But I want the best experience I can possibly get. And there's a good chance that that is going to be on PlayStation 5 Pro. But right now, I have no reason to buy that console, which is why I returned the one I bought, and I'll buy it again when they actually have games on it. But I think the console market, it's going to hit us at, like, people roast me because the total sell-through for video game consoles in a console generation, I believe it's something like 200 million. That's across Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. Correct me if I'm wrong. What's the number? It's like 250? And that hasn't changed for years. I don't know what the exact number is, but I know it's not growing. So when you see Xbox making a change, it's 280, Dean? Do you know that for sure? Yeah, it's a finite number. And once you hit that number, the number's not going up. Or if it does, it's like 1%. And that's not, when your inflation rate is 5% or whatever, and your increase in sales is 1% across 3 different console manufacturers, it's not a sustainable model, which is why we're seeing PlayStation talk about releases on PC and figuring out how they're going to adjust their sell-through market and how they're going to adjust their releases going forward. They were betting big on, what are they called? Shooters? Shared world shooters, we'll call them. Games like Destiny, games that you live in that are platforms. That was their big bet. And that did not work out for them well. So they just basically canned all of that. They redid their structure of leadership. And now they're taking a look at the paperwork again, and they're going to figure it out in the coming weeks and months ahead. We'll see how it goes. So I see this number. Anybody who saw this number and they were like, Xbox bad, look how bad their console sales are. They said it 3 years ago. You're marching to the same tune that you were 3 years ago. They lost. Everybody knows they lost in the console market. So they're adjusting their strategy. You think they were going to pack it up and go home? No, they're going to figure out what to do next. And that's what they're doing. Well, the drama is that their console's not selling well, which is not particularly big news to everybody. And the silly hand graph that I made that everybody memes, that was about the differing strategies with Game Pass and their revenue and profit margins. I don't think that was about console sales. But if it was, then I just got to take the L on that one. I don't think it was about console sales. I think I was talking about Xbox Game Pass being everywhere. When Phil Spencer bought Bethesda and they were doing the roundtable, he said, this is about getting exclusive games in places Game Pass exists. What's interesting about that is you do have to sign in to Xbox when you boot up those Xbox games on PlayStation. You're not on Game Pass yet, but we'll see what the future holds. I do find what he said to be misleading, and I didn't like that. But they are releasing their games on PlayStation, which is not what I expected. I never would have expected Xbox to release their games on the competing platform. But Satya Nadella, during the FTC trial, just said, yeah, I don't like exclusives. They must have went back to the office and said, yeah, you know what? We're just not going to do exclusives anymore. So anybody saying like they're not ready for Halo to go on PlayStation, you should buckle up because it's going. I once they did indie, something clicked in my brain. I'm like, it's done. If they had to go to whoever owns Indiana Jones and make the case for being exclusive, and they did all of that work, they even said during the FTC trial that they did all that work, and then they just said, yeah, we're just not going to do an exclusive game anymore. Everything's going. They did all that work and they just threw it out all at once. So it's all going. I think PlayStation gamers, if you want to play Xbox games, you can pay $70. And I think that's just going to be the future of it. So if you're an Xbox gamer, then I think you should prepare yourself for more big games like, let me find it because I actually brought up. You should prepare yourself for more big games like Forza Horizon 5, which this isn't a meme. This is the official Forza account that announced a few weeks ago that you can pre-order Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation 5. Buckle up, because it's not the last game you're going to see go to PlayStation. That's my prediction. That's what I think is going to happen. And PlayStation gamers, if you please spend $70 on the games, because you are going to fund more games to be created that I enjoy playing. And like, I get everything, right? If I want to play a PlayStation game, I have a PlayStation and I'm going to play it there. It will run better on PS5 Pro. It will run best on PC though, Ryan. And I get everything on PC. I outlined at the beginning of the stream that there were so many game opportunities for me in the first month of the year that I literally couldn't keep up with the amount of reviews, previews, and everything else coming. So I am not worried about PlayStation having an exclusivity window on their games for the console for a year. If I really want to, like GTA 6, I'm going to play GTA 6 day one, probably on a PlayStation 5 Pro. I will play every Xbox game on PC day one. I'm absolutely going to play it day one on PC. PlayStation 5 Pro has a lot of enhancements that have had issues also, as somebody pointed out in chat. They've had graphical issues. They have had issues with frame rate because the CPU is holding back the console. They use the same CPU, which is a little bit harder to push forward. Yeah, I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on PC, which is great also. But buckle up because things are going multi-platform. And then Thomas Mahler, by the way, my next guest is going to be Thomas Mahler. He is a co-creator of Ori, and he has been working on No Rest for the Wicked. I played a bunch of No Rest for the Wicked when I was at IGN. Great game. He said, since quite a few people are still arguing the case for exclusives, let us test the principle. How do you feel about Valve paying developers to keep their games exclusive to Steam in order to increase the value proposition of PC gaming? What do you think, PlayStation gamers? Should all PC games that Valve has rights to be exclusive to PC? No. He had 2,393 votes and 75.4 people said, yeah, that would be bad. So when Xbox goes multi-platform, that is really good for the consumer. There is no negative for Microsoft, for Xbox gamers, for PlayStation gamers, for PC gamers. There's no negative to Xbox releasing their game in multiple places going forward. Except for their console, which has failed to outsell its previous generation. They're not going to get out of the hardware business. 30 million is still 30 million people, and they have a very high attachment rate to their hardware. They spend more on their hardware. Like, they've talked about these metrics because they're positive metrics for them. So they're not going to stop making hardware. They've already confirmed that they are making a handheld and that they are making new hardware. So those things are happening. My hair looks good. Thanks. Thanks, Red Wolf. So those things are happening. They are being developed. PlayStation and Nintendo are subsidizing Game Pass at this point, Wire Rope says. Yeah, exactly. So that is going to be the future. Over at PlayStation, I mean, I don't know where to start with this one. Long story short, PlayStation Network was down for several days. I don't really know what else to say about that story. PlayStation Network went down. People are mad. People are advocating for games not to be always online. I don't really know what else to say about it. It's unfortunate. It happens to Xbox every several months also. I do think that the world we live in, where we need to connect to the internet to do our dailies in Gran Turismo 7 or play the campaign for Halo. It's weird. It's very, very strange. So, yeah. I don't think they were hacked again. I'm pretty sure that was a meme. But in addition to the PlayStation network outage, there were also more layoffs at PlayStation. This person over on Blue Sky said, most of my team was just laid off from PlayStation. It was a dream to get to work with Sony on the platform I'd grown up playing since PlayStation 1 and contribute to the PlayStation 5 Portal, PSVR 2, PlayStation app, and future consoles. If you know anyone who needs an engineer experienced native console UI, feel free to reach out. And it sounds like this wasn't the only person impacted. So PlayStation did do some quiet layoffs of some sort. There hasn't been a lot of coverage about this. Let's look. Let's see if I can find a story. So 3 days ago, are you serious? Like, just check this out for a sec. We don't have a lot of coverage of this story, which is a little surprising for me. We got it from WCCF Tech, 80 MSN, which is probably just the WCCF Tech. Gameranx covered it. They continue layoffs days after the membership shakeup. Yahoo does this thing. I don't know if that's Yahoo, or if it's just an aggregate of another one. Tweaktown covered it. Derek's doing good work over there. Sony guts, but it's Derek. Good old Derek. Sony guts PlayStation UI team shortly after the huge success of PlayStation 5 30th anniversary themes. Sony has now reportedly laid off an entire team of PlayStation user interface developers shortly after Sony saw huge success with its PS5 themes campaign. Layoffs continue at Sony Interactive Entertainment, and this time nearly an entire UI/UX division has been let go. Sony is trying to cut costs to improve profit margins and has laid off hundreds of workers in the process. Hundreds? I didn't know it was that much. I thought it was like 5 people in the UI department. Hundreds though? Now he's referring to total layoffs. Okay, now the cutting continues as Sony's gaming segment orders more job terminations, this time affecting a group that's responsible for making big changes to what users see on the PlayStation 5 dashboard. The new layoff comes from Oscar Diaz, whose tweet we read. The news comes at an interesting time for Sony, who had just previously launched the mega successful PlayStation 5 30th anniversary themes campaign. It's not clear how many people were laid off though, but yeah, PlayStation's been doing layoffs. I'm a little surprised to see the layoffs in 2025. I'm concerned about the gaming industry, if I'm being totally honest. Layoffs do happen, and I think a lot of people have gotten really numb to these layoffs at this point because they've been happening since 2023. It's just been like carving it down and down and down, and I think it just wears on you after a while where you're like, it's sad, and you just kind of become numb to big layoffs at some point, and that's what somebody in chat's indicating anyway. I still think it's still not fun. I saw somebody claim that I was happy about layoffs. That person, I think they know where they can go. I have never said that I am happy about layoffs, ever. I do think that they were inevitable. During COVID, we saw a massive hiring increase. Yeah, we saw Iron Galaxy, one of my favorite developers, laid off 66 people. We saw this ballooning of the industry. So a lot of people hired up. Iron Galaxy is talking about how they're on their last legs, basically. Like, I'm not happy about layoffs anywhere. Is the blazer and t-shirt still a thing? It is for me. I'm bringing back the 1994 look, a blazer and a t-shirt. Honestly, I started doing it because I used to do it on Hard News. And when I started covering news, people wanted me to bring it back. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. And then I just kind of kept doing it. And it makes it really easy when I'm just wearing a t-shirt to throw on the blazer. Should I lose it? What do you think, chat? Should I lose the blazer? I didn't do any goal either for this episode. So we'll do the 10 super chat thing. Boop. All right, we'll do the 10 super chat thing I usually do. And then should I lose the blazer? We'll do a poll. Keep. All right. This will determine the future of this channel. Will I be blazerless or will I keep blazing? I think that word has another meaning, but keep it. All right. We have 20 votes over at YouTube, and they're saying keep it. You got it. Oh, yeah. So speaking of layoffs, my next story was I had a very strong reaction to this one. There has been a lot of coverage about Dragon Age Veilguard. I played Dragon Age Veilguard. I think I only played it like 10 hours. Let me just see really quick. I'll tell you exactly how much I played Dragon Age the Veilguard. I played it for 6.5 hours. I think the writing was bad. I think the worlds were pretty. I think the environmental design was quite nice. I thought combat was okay. But I think the writing was so bad and so handholdy that it was grating. BioWare fired their entire writing team almost. Anybody who did writing on Veilguard is gone. I think anybody who worked on Veilguard is gone, actually. So when they're talking to investors, what do you think that they would say? Why do you think that EA said that Dragon Age the Veilguard failed? No share world features. I didn't even know what to say. I basically just said, I think EA might be cooked. If you can't take an earnest look at why your game failed and listen to the many, many people giving feedback about the game. And I know most people, they call it online, you'll say like traditional media really liked it or whatever they say during the earnings call. But I mean, like most people who played it, go look at the Steam reviews. Let's look at the Steam reviews for it. We'll look at it together, okay? And I know a lot of people in my chat actually said that they liked it. I remembered talking to Clay and everything. Clay liked it. The reviews are mixed. So it's a mixed game already from a gameplay standpoint. Let's see recent reviews. Not recommended. I've just uninstalled the game that has sullied the name of what used to be one of my favorite video game franchises. Where do you see how many hours they played? 31 hours on record. 31 hours. I didn't listen to the Bitcast. What did I miss? What did I miss on the Bitcast? Let me know what I missed on Bitcast. This usually I tuned in. I was busy prepping the show and I was getting my review in progress done for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm not very far in the game. Just full disclosure. I did not get very far in that one. But anyway, let's just scroll down a little bit. So this user has 276 hours. I can't like zoom in. Can I look at this on a web page? 1 second. Yeah, here you go. You can actually read it here. Let's find a positive one. After 450 hours and 5 runs, I have to admit that Dragon Age Veilguard is my least favorite Dragon Age game recommended. What? I'm a huge fan. I played 450 hours. This is the worst one. I am reviewing Avowed and I am previewing South of Midnight. Here's a more positive one, 26.4 hours on record. Not as bad as a lot of people say it is. Not as good as it should have been. Even the positive reviews critique the game. I've read 2 positive reviews who are recommending the game who say it's not as good as it could have been. So when I see EA and Paul Tassi even said, my jaw actually dropped reading this. Imagine thinking that's the lesson to take away here. Let's read Paul's article. EA says Dragon Age the Veilguard failed because of no shared world features. Like, you're lying to yourself or your investors? Both are bad. Right? I'm glad that people in chat enjoyed it. Now, I've seen a lot of people in my chat specifically who said, I like Dragon Age the Veilguard. But we're talking about the owner of EA, Andrew Wilson, saying that the reason it failed, the reason it didn't sell well, is because it didn't have shared world features. That's not why it did poorly. Like, at least be honest to your investors. It's so weird. In order to break out beyond the core audience, games need to directly connect with the evolving demands of players who increasingly seek shared world features and deeper engagement alongside high-quality narratives in this beloved category, Wilson said. All your characters are not like they were in the original games. Like, it's weird. So, like, you alienated the longtime fans and new people who would have gotten into it, thought the writing was bad. Why? My two. Like, who cares? Should I talk about the grifters too? Like, I'm not going to waste my energy on that stuff. It's not worth your time. It's not worth my time. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about what happened, and let's talk about reality. Okay? That's what I like to do. I'm glad you didn't feel alienated, but I think a lot of people felt like the game was too handholdy. Like the fact that they explained who the villain was 40 times in the first several hours. You have like an hour to get people like really into your world. And I think the opening hour of Dragon Age the Veilguard just wasn't it. And my personal opinion was the writing was poor. Ban my two. If Clay's not here, I'll do it really quick. Yeah, you're banned, dude. Just like I already answered your question. You're just being annoying now. Dragon Age had high quality launch and was well reviewed by critics and those who played. However, it did not resonate with a broad enough audience in this highly competitive market. Yes, you heard that correctly. The idea is that Dragon Age failed because it was not some sort of shared multiplayer world, which didn't lead to deeper engagement. We have people in the Steam reviews with 450 hours in the game. They did 5 playthroughs. And you know what they said? It's the worst game in the series. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to people in chat who didn't play that much. Go talk to that person who spent 450 hours in the game and figure out what went wrong. Because I guarantee you they're not going to say it's because of the shared world elements that the game had or didn't have. It's just crazy to me. Yeah, check this out. Great standalone game, bad Dragon Age game. 120 hours on record. He had 100 hours at review time. These are the positive reviews. I'm not reading the negative reviews. Played through the game immediately following Inquisition and played the previous games in order before that, so I suppose this review comes from the perspective of someone that's more casually in the fandom and completed the game on Nightmare difficulty as a Shadow Dragon Mage that focused on necromancy. Edit playing a second time as a Crow Rogue, so we'll add commentary here too. Overall, I'm giving this game a 7 out of 10. This game was seamless when it came to bugs, and graphics were beautiful. I agree. I agree that the graphics were good. There are some details in the game that you won't understand, just Easter eggs and references, if you have not played the previous games. And then they break it down. Combat, pros, cons. Felt on about. This is actually, I really like this review. I think this is a pretty solid review. 276 hours on record, multiple playthroughs. They recommend it. It's a 7 out of 10. I think a 7 out of 10 is a fair review for Dragon Age Veilguard. I don't think it's as bad as the internet was making it out to be. I definitely don't think it's as good as some people on the internet were making it out to be. That's my personal opinion. Yeah, I think my friend Paul loved it. The answer for me, it's always somewhere in the middle. It's never, this game is the worst thing ever made. It was just fine. I think the real frustration comes when the CEO of the company is just so out of touch that they think that the reason the game didn't do well is because of shared world elements. So that has a lot of people worried about the next Mass Effect being dictated by somebody who clearly didn't read, go read the reviews. You can go read the reviews from gamers that have 280 hours in the game. These aren't people grifting on Dragon Age the Veilguard. These are people who love the franchise, who wanted it to be better. And the first 4 reviews said it's basically the worst Dragon Age game they've ever played. But you want to say it's shared world elements. It's just crazy. And what has the impact been to BioWare, the studio, one of my favorite studios, one of my favorite teams in gaming? I am completely biased. I will always root for BioWare. They are a big reason that I make this content for you today. I love the original Mass Effect that much. I played through it several times on stream. I have been gay in that game. I have been straight in that game. I've been a lady in that game. I don't care about that stuff. It's a video game. It's not reality. There's less than 100 people left working at the studio. Less than 100 people left working at the studio. Every writer was fired. Anybody who touched Dragon Age Veilguard has been fired. It is very clear that the reason it failed was not for shared world elements. And it's unfortunate. There were stories by Jason over at Bloomberg saying that it had to be rebooted internally. It's bad. It's very, very unfortunate. Wiseman says that then you will love the upcoming Exodus game. I'm stoked for Exodus. I have liked every single thing I've seen. You know the big reason I'm excited about Exodus? Drew Karpyshyn, the writer of the original Mass Effect game, is writing Exodus. I'm sold already. I think he is a fantastic writer. I think Drew also wrote the Mass Effect book that I write. I like. So I am stoked for Exodus, which is being created by a bunch of former EA BioWare people from BioWare Edmonton. I was also stoked for Humanoid Origin, which was Casey Hudson's startup. It's unfortunately shut down. And we'll see what happens with Mass Effect. Mass Effect has a lot of Mass Effect people on it. It has no Dragon Age people on it as far as I know. It's a separate team led by Gamble. But let's look at the track record for BioWare and why I'm nervous about Mass Effect. A, Dragon Age. We were told Dragon Age was going to be this great game. It was originally called a totally different title. Dreadwolf. I think it was Dreadwolf originally. I don't know Dragon Age as well. They fired the writer of the original Dragon Age games. He was on as a contractor or something. The whole situation was just a mess. They rebooted it. The game before that was Anthem, which if you play it, I think there were some interesting elements, but it just didn't end up coming together. I liked Anthem a lot more than I liked Dragon Age. I think there were some good... I actually think the story was okay in Anthem. I liked the sort of twist at the end. And then before that, there was a game I very much did not like, and that was Mass Effect Andromeda. I can't tell you of a single mission in Mass Effect Andromeda that really impacted me emotionally or everything. Everything just felt very boring. So Mass Effect Andromeda, also not great. Did I miss anything? Inquisition was a little bit controversial when it came out, but I think it was mostly well received. But they have three games that have not hit with the audience. And that has a lot of people wondering, is Mass Effect 5 make or break for BioWare? I think it might be. And I take no happiness in saying that. I hope it's not true. And I truly hope that they knock it out of the park. Speaking of Xbox, I actually wanted to mention this story. Nate the Hate returns again and shares the release dates of Final Fantasy games on Xbox after they were PlayStation exclusive. So Nate the Hate has been leaking a lot of stuff, and yeah. I don't know what to tell you, videos. Nate the Hate says, oh, I have it up. The release dates of the Final Fantasy games coming to Xbox are spring of 2025, and Rebirth will be spring of 2026. Now, this has been a topic that has come up repeatedly. And Nate the Hate is the one who called Forza. Like, Nate the Hate had like 5 things at the beginning of this year be proven true. So at this point, I was like, all right, well, this guy is right. So I do think the Final Fantasy games will eventually come to Xbox. And then Tom Warren, this is a little bit older story, but Tom Warren noted that the Oblivion remake remaster is spring. They're targeting Gears E-Day for 2025, which would be a big win for Microsoft. Microsoft is having like a crazy year. They have Avowed coming right around the corner. They have South of Midnight in April. They have Doom the Dark Ages in May. I'm very excited about Doom the Dark Ages. So they have a lot of stuff that's getting players pretty excited about their lineup for the year. And then the rumor that Tom Warren is saying is going to happen, Oblivion, Gears E-Day, Clockwork Revolution, and Contraband being shown this June. That's all really, really good stuff. I am absolutely stoked. Oh, I did have a thing up for the PlayStation Network outage. As of this post, PlayStation Network has been down for about 10 hours globally. Has this affected your plans yet this weekend? Yeah, a lot of people were bummed about this. It's all good now. Expedition 33, I almost forgot. Another really, really great games. Wire Rope says Veilguard has great bones and should be reworked. They reworked it 3 times. And anybody who would rework it is gone. They're not touching Veilguard. Veilguard, the only metric that EA would share is that Veilguard had 1.5 million players. 1.5 million players, not copies sold. How did Kingdom Come Deliverance 2? 1 million within 24 hours. It's a flop. But seriously, thank you. And if you like the game, give it a review on Steam or open/Metacritic. So far, we have 92% positive user reviews out of 4,400 on Steam. Let's see how the next month looks. Veilguard had the same success in the early run. It's a single-player game. Early sales are the best indicator of a well-selling game. Veilguard sold F-Tons too. It's just didn't meet EA's lofty expectations. No, they didn't. We sold in a day what they sold in 2 months. I said South of Midnight in April. Twice. So Dragon Age the Veilguard is very, very successful. My kids are having fun out there singing some songs. But there's a drama we should talk about with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Did you know that if you want to be gay in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, you can be? You can have intercourse with a man in this game. If you don't want to, though, don't. You could also have intercourse with a woman should you choose. Here's my reaction to the drama. It's stupid. It is the stupidest drama I have ever heard. Somebody asked me, tell me one other game where they made a straight character gay, because there's this argument that the main protagonist was supposed to be straight, because somebody on the forums said that he's canonically straight. And I was like, yeah, Caden Ilenko in Mass Effect. He was not originally written as gay in the Mass Effect series. And by Mass Effect 3, you can do the smoochies. And you bet your butt I did. I captured, I think, every romance in that game. I murdered every person I could murder in that game. Yeah. Woodpit says there were at least 4 gay characters in part 1, including the main antagonist. This drama is stupid. And what's even more frustrating about it is, here's what I said. I gotta be honest, people complaining about Hans being romanceable in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I truly don't get it. You don't have to do it. You really don't. As a matter of fact, you kind of have to like work your way to get that option. Players asked for this to be an option in the game, and I linked to 3 Reddit threads over a 6-year period of time where players were asking, can I romance Hans? Roxy says, the question is making him gay. Is that historically accurate? Are you seriously asking if gay people were around in the 1400s? Is that a serious question? I got some bad news about Rome, y'all. About ancient Rome. I got some bad news about history, everybody. Look. Yeah. This controversy is stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I've seen the claim that about the age thing. Like, look, in this lore text, and if you do the math from the date the game takes place, I don't really have a comment on that. That's obviously like a little weird, and I would hope they would retcon it. But that wasn't the argument. They had to dig for that for like weeks. And then finally they got their gotcha, which is a piece of lore text, which ideally would be updated. But at the same time, I mean, if they're being historically accurate during that time period, most people lived to be like, what, 30 in the 1400s? I don't know. But yeah, it is a little weird. But we're talking about just having a gay option in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. It's something that fans wanted. You don't have to do it. It's only accessible later in the game. Players like are 90 hours in and they haven't even found it yet. So the whole thing is weird. And here's why it's problematic. Because if you have an actual complaint about video games and you were now going after Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 because there is 90 hours into the game an option to be gay, or I don't even know if that makes them like they're going to do it's a gay romance scene. Who cares? I don't care. I'm probably going to do it now just because everybody's so mad about it. If you get mad because 90 hours into a video game, there's a gay romance option, you got to get your priorities straight. Like, honestly, I'm going to so be gay in this game now. And like, then I'm going to reload my save and then I'm going to not be gay. Like, come on. So this has been going on for weeks and it's stupid. It's one of the dumbest things ever. And there's all of this argumentation about it. IGN posted the how to romance Hans, right? And I said, well, now I have to do it. Because originally I thought it was so ridiculous that people saw this and they were upset that there was a guide on how to access the gay romance option. And don't do it. Just don't do it if you don't want to. Anyway, so the game is doing very, very well. The concurrents have been through the roof. Very, very successful game. And Daniel Varva says new record today. I think this was just a few hours ago. I don't expect it to get higher during the weekdays, but it would be cool to get to 300 one day Starfield level. I like challenges. And this was tweeted a few hours ago. February 9th. Yeah, that's today. So this morning. And then this guy, oh my God. Like, just take the L. If you like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 music and want to directly support its composer, it's available on Steam now. Hello, Mr. Varva. Some report circled around is claiming that you and your team pulled off this beast of a game for about $41 million. And frankly, I would be floored by this achievement. Is it really that same ballpark? Or have they vastly underestimated the game budget? Yes. And like, he answered the question without answering the question, right? Sven Vink. Is it Vinka? I gotta list some videos and figure out how to say his name. Congratulations. After all that work, you must be feeling very proud. Looking forward to try it out. IGN gave it a 9. We already covered the Veilguard numbers. And then there's this guy who's like, there's been this one X user who is very upset that 90 hours into a game, you can romance Hans. And I'm not going to read what Daniel Varva wrote because it got really like nasty. Yeah, it got really nasty. So like, that's kind of like kicking the hornet's nest, and it's kind of set everybody off. And then there's a reference to the fact that they said something, and here's a user who actually played the game, who actually went in and got to the point where they could have this option. Here's what they said. Twitter BS, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is woke because gay. Reality, after 90 hours, I've found one male character in which Henry can intimate the coitus. There may be more, but this is all I have found. It's at a point in the story where there is every chance Henry won't survive. At an identical point in the story, there is a female character who Henry can also funky chicken with. Prior to this moment, there are several romance dialogue options with both of these characters. If you decide not to pursue those romance options, nothing happens. Nothing is forced. In essence, there are 4 romance paths a player can take. You can romance nobody. You can romance the woman. This is 90 hours into the game. You can romance the man, or you can choose to always talk about a previous love interest. Every single one of these options is presented clearly in every dialogue screen. See the big heart in the screenshots? That same system developers have used to indicate romance for decades. If you don't choose those options, no romance, no flirting, nothing. Player choice. I've removed the dialogue in the second screenshot to avoid spoilers. I'm sharing this because both of the making of lucrative cutscenes are pretty graphic by gaming standards, so I'm sure one is going to be peddled around once the rage baiters get a hold of it. I don't like being denigrating to anybody, but yeah, anyway. I am completely against anyone forcing developers to remove elements of game because of social political pressures on both sides. Nothing in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 feels forced. Everything feels authentic. And if we are able to give more players more choice while achieving that, that's a win-win. I feel like we are literally living in a time where the internet people are becoming the Fox News of video game coverage. What are you doing? You look dumb. This makes every argument you have look worse. This is going to be referenced for years to come. It's ridiculous. You could be gay in the original Mass Effect. If you played FemShep, you could romance Liara. And Fox News did this interview with Jeff Keighley where they were worried about the kids having sex in a video game. And here we are in 2025 arguing about 90 hours into an M-rated game whether or not you can have sex with a guy. It's you gotta stop. It's too much. No, I watch everything. Honestly, I watch CNN and I watch Fox and I watch MSNBC. I watch everything. I want to be as informed as I possibly can be about situations. And I honestly like to watch the source of news. So you want to know where I stand on news? I watch everything. I want to be as informed as I possibly can be. I want to know what is being missed, and I want to know what's being said. I want to know what the source says. That's how I am with video game stuff. That's how I am with everything. That's how I always have been. So like, you want to know what I watch? Everybody like wants to guess like where I align politically. I align politically with facts. I look at what happens and then I make a decision about how I feel about it. And I think I just wish more people would do that, honestly, in video games, in reality, and everything. It's very frustrating to be like, I get called woke a lot. Why? Because I don't care that there's a gay option in a video game. You guys got to get your priorities straight. I'm sorry. This is a very stupid argument. It's stupid. I get my news from Asmongold. Okay. I'd say you're moderate. I don't talk about politics. Anyway, so that's where I stand on it. I don't care that it's in the game. I think fans wanted it. They gave fans the option. Isn't that what we've been trying to do for years? Like, isn't that what we want? We want developers to listen to gamers. Okay, we would like a gay option in the next Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Okay, yeah, sure, we could do that. No, not like that. What are we doing? They did the thing that players wanted. And there was this big criticism about how there weren't any black characters in the first game. So they have an instance in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 where you can meet one, and it's sort of like a funny moment because that would have been an odd occurrence during the time period, and they addressed it. I really like how they handled Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I really am having fun time with the game, and I think this controversy is just so overblown and absolutely ridiculous. So I don't see it as caving. If you follow Daniel Varva, that does not seem like a person who is caving to pressure from anybody. Like, yeah. Like, people don't like him. Kenner says, I wanted to say thank you for streaming Stalker 2. I was originally going to skip the game, but now it's like my game of the year. It's really good, right? I'm glad you liked it. So anyway, I did want to talk about the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 stuff. I feel like it's just out of control. Like, have a little bit of nuance with these topics. If you're just posting about how mad that we're supposed to be because gay people exist, like, you got a problem. There's plenty of great gay people on planet Earth. I don't get why you wouldn't want them to have an option in a fictional video game that's not real. It's very annoying, right? And it seems like they handled it quite well. I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. That was all the news. Did I miss any big news this week? Because really, I wanted to actually play a video game with y'all. There's this beta going on right now for a little game. Yeah, you could be gay in Baldur's Gate. And the funny thing was, go look up Baldur's Gate and search before the game came out to see what people were saying before the game came out. And then all of a sudden when it comes out and everybody loves it, those narratives changed real quick, huh? Come on, don't be like Fox News in 1992. Like, what are you doing? I still got my music jamming out here. Let's watch it. I want to show you what it was like when I started out and they were arguing about Mass Effect 1 back in 2003 or whatever. I'm going to bring it up real quick. We can do a little reaction to it. Fox News. I feel like we have come full circle. Like, this is where we're at, right? All right, let me get this all going again. When did Mass Effect 1 come out?
Everyone you know and love. Everyone, you will all die. Let's finish this.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing stuff. I was looking at it a little bit this afternoon. It's a new role-playing video game that is
2007.
leaving nothing to the imagination.
Thank you,
Mass
Dark.
Effect is what it's called. It's made for Microsoft.
Sex Box? New video game shows full digital nudity and sex. Oh my goodness. Like, do we need to get Jack Thompson back out here to tell you, smack some sense into everybody?
Microsoft's Xbox system, and it features in some parts of this, you'll see full digital nudity.
Oh my God.
And the ability for the players to engage in graphic sex, and the person who's playing the game gets to decide exactly what's going to happen between the two people, if you know what I mean. Now, the game is rated M for mature. However, critics say that Mass Effect is being marketed.
If only there was some sort of rating to keep this game from minors. Like, it's the same stuff. It's the same thing that Fox News was doing. But now, like, gamers are doing it. What are you doing?
To kids and to teenagers. Microsoft responded to these claims and said that they were inaccurate. They released this statement that reads in part, "We actively support and abide by all video game rating systems and provide built-in industry-leading technology such as parental controls and a family timer that empowers parents and caregivers to monitor their children's experience with video games, notably with respect to content, online interactions, and the amount of time spent playing." Cooper Lawrence is a psychology specialist, radio talk show host, and the author of the new book, The Cult of.
A psychology specialist came on to make sure that parents didn't take accountability for their own children playing a M-rated game where you could bang after 30 hours of gameplay. It's so stupid.
Perfection. And Jeff Keighley is a game expert with Spike TV. Welcome to both of you. You know, Cooper, it sort of cracks me up whenever I hear a company say that, you know, there's all these controls in there that you can monitor the time and you can, you know, but basically Pandora's box is open. I mean, kids have access to these things, and unless you're hovering over them every second, they're going to find ways to see this stuff on the internet. How damaging is it really?
Well, the thing is, you know, it's the whole concept of, like, 13-year-olds have never seen Playboy because they're not supposed to. It's that idea that, I mean,
has anybody seen this before?
Let's talk about who the video game is for. It might be for adults, but if you look at the
It's
statistics,
Jeff Keighley.
Who is playing video
Back in
games?
2007.
Adolescent males, not their dads. So that's the first thing. The damage is this. We know that all the research shows that violence has a desensitizing effect. Well, sexuality does too, because this is when the developing mind is happening. This is when they're first deciding who they're going to be, who their identity is. This is when social development is happening. And here's how they're seeing women. They're seeing them as these objects of desire, as these, you know, hot bodies. I mean, they don't show women as being valued as
it's like one of the worst
NPCs
NPCs I've seen.
And it's a man in this game deciding how many women he wants to be with.
All right, let's.
Like, they didn't play the game. They don't know that you can be a man or a woman. You can't be with multiple women. You can pick one romance option. I think you could do multiple by 3, but like, it's so bad. And the problem is that now, yeah, this is 2007, and I feel like we're living in a, like, time has come full circle, and now we're doing it, but it's literally gamers being Fox News in this scenario.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Completely incorrect. Yeah, it's completely incorrect. First of all, you can actually play as a man or a woman in the game. Cooper, have you ever played Mass Effect?
No.
Do I need to keep? No, I never played it. And then Jeff puts down the business, and then both the hosts are like, oh yeah, we've never played it. Well, I don't know. Maybe this whole segment was a thing. So that was a big thing on the internet back in 2007 because it's just absolutely ridiculous. So the problem is when you start making arguments about things that you don't like, maybe you don't like it because you're religious or something like that, like whatever. But like if you're saying that, and I don't agree with that. If you're gay, it's fine. Like, I think it's whatever, you know. But if you're out there on the internet saying like this shouldn't be an option and making all these weird arguments, I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, I'm married with 2 kids, and I do the gay options in video games that I really like. I do the straight ones too. I do all of them. I just save scrum it. Yeah, do you. I don't care, you know? Anyway, we were going to play some video games today. I'm going to play some, where is it? Monster Hunter Wilds. We got the Monster Hunter Wilds beta. I only have an hour or so. Yeah, to each their own. Can we just get back to that? Like, what are we doing here? It's very frustrating, and I don't see your perspective. If you're like, if it betrays the character or whatever, okay. Did gamers ask for it? Yes. So the developer did what gamers wanted. Yeah. Are you playing the game? No. Like I've heard all I need to hear. That's all I. Are you going to play the game? No. Did you play the game? No. But you're mad about it? Yeah. Dark City says Kingdom Come 2 is boring. Combat janky. Play Starfield. My review in progress is going to be coming out tomorrow, but I say in my review in progress, basically, if you're not into those slower burn games, it's not going to be a game that you like. So yeah, the remainder of the stream, I'm actually going to be playing